669 days since Richard was premeditatedly murdered treasonously on Fort Bliss. On Fort Bliss in July 2020. In 2020. And you have to realize that his phone was taken away, and we can't really trust what we've been told. We've been misled over and over again. And it is absolutely clear, though, we can confirm that Richard was murdered on Fort Bliss in 2020, and that has been declared by the Department of Defense because the evidence is overwhelmingly. Was it treasonously? Yes, absolutely. This has been absolutely treasonous. And now things have really changed, right? Kash Patel was sworn in today, and it is a glorious day on that, a really glorious day, because not only has Kash Patel been sworn in, we have been following him for a long time, the start of this. He absolutely was targeted over and over again. And because of his work and because of his legal work, because of the exposing crime, and he has been very loyal to President Trump. We've watched him. We've watched many of his interviews and everything. We are surprised to see him as the director of the FBI, and it is a pleasant surprise because it seems that in the past we were getting unqualified individuals or not the best individuals in key positions. So to see Kash Patel get this position is really amazing for us. And it really tells you something about President Trump, that he is very, very serious about targeting the cartel, because you see the cartel absolutely targeted President Trump in 2019, absolutely have been targeting Trump numerous times, and only I think Kash Patel will tell us. And because at the center, when you look at all of this evidence from the Walmart mass shooting, from El Mayo and the Santa Teresa International Jetport, when you look at what Richard was reporting on and the retaliation and what that led to with, his treasonous premeditated murder and the cover-up and the subsequent cover-up of it. At the center of it all was stop Trump at all costs. Stop Trump from being president, from being elected once again president. They absolutely wanted to stop him at all costs. And you see this through the weaponization of the judicial system, through the legal system, the AGs, and you see over the 4 years that we've been investigating, it was very, very clear that Trump was always their target. President Trump was always their target, and that President Trump magnificently overcame all of that and was elected. And we all saw it. We saw it through the Cobra Strike time, right? that time that was so full of insanity. We saw that. We saw the weaponization of the legal world against um, President Trump. We saw what happened at J6. At least we, as far as our family, we were there. We were there on J6. So we absolutely knew about the bad actors, about the bad agents. Now we're finding out that there were thousands. Um, so, you're talking about 1 million people. It was a huge group of people there on January 6th. You absolutely can hear now because of the pardoned individuals and commuted sentences of many individuals that were there at January 6th. You can hear their unfair treatment and what happened to them, that it was a political attack. And I can tell you this from living in Germany and talking to many people that were living in the eastern part of Germany when when the Berlin Wall fell, and having friends that were in the Dresden area, and hearing that uh, before the Berlin Wall fell in the Dresden area in Bautzen, really in Bautzen, Germany, there's a big prison there, and that prison was just full of political prisoners. Political prisoners that were being held to shut them up, to shut their mouths, to take away their freedom of speech. And my friends had participated. This is before the Berlin Wall collapsed, when um, uh, the Eastern Germany, when it was the DDR, um, when it was getting very weak, they decided to protest in front of the prison there in Bautzen, holding up big torches and signs, um, and protesting the political prisoners. The political prisoners. When the Berlin Wall came down, the prison doors were opened and the political prisoners were set free. This is not that long ago. Okay. This is in, no, 1990, right? This is not that long ago. And, political prisoners are a real thing. And the January 6th um, arrests, and we were there on January 6th. Thanks be to God, we through Richard's case, our spidey senses were in a heightened mode, and we did not follow the directions of many bad agents there to uh, go up to the Capitol building, because they were egging everyone on to go and to get closer and closer. And this is during the mandate, right, to stand 6 feet apart, and they were egging everyone to come close, close, close. Um, we just knew that there were some bad actors, because we had been dealing with bad actors in Richard's case, right? We absolutely knew that we were being lied to over and over again, and the PAO, the media, was falsely reporting on Richard, and not rightly reporting on Richard. Okay, they were absolutely in a smear campaign against Richard, who at that time was the first Vanessa Guillen absentee soldier. Right? You would think that they would cover the first Vanessa Guillen absentee soldier a little different than what they did, and they didn't. And they were very nervous. They were, when you met with them, they were shaking. Their faces were twerking, and deformed. It was just so clear that something, Yoshida was crying was crying, right, that something absolutely horrible happened to Richard, and they were not allowed to say it, still not allowed to say it. And now they're facing really, really big penalties because President Trump is not playing games anymore, right? He's not playing games. This is a treasonous murder. Um, and I believe there's others, right? And they absolutely tried to assassinate President Trump, and they try to use our institutions to cover all of this stuff up, like the DA's office, like the AG's office in the Western District. Jaime Esparza is gone now. Jaime Esparza is bye bye. He is bye bye, and he needs to be bye bye. He was fired, and he needs to be fired because, like this federal courthouse, like the MAG court, there is a constitutional crisis, like in the medical examiner's office, a constitutional crisis, and they're up to no good. And with President Trump designating the Sinaloa cartel, these are major players that we know of, because you see, in order to do the trafficking, they need the warehouses, they need the transportation, and they need the visas, right? They need the visas. And then they need the law enforcement and the judicial system to cover for them, right? To cover. And we're talking about $1 billion business. So they can absolutely take their $1 billion towers and take away the constitutional powers of the people that live in this country. They can absolutely do that through bribes and through recruiting agents, cartel agents, narco politicians, whatever, to do their bidding. And that's why you see so many discrepancies, so many irregularities, so many that clearly are hiding something, and clearly are not telling the truth. Um, and, so it is just amazing to have Kash Patel, who you don't have to explain the embedding of cartel agents or cartel spies or uh, recruited treasonous individuals into our system. You don't have to explain that to you don't have to convince him of that. So many times at the beginning of this, not anymore, but at the beginning, we would say something is not right. Something is really, really wrong. And this and this and this is going on. And they would like, no way, no way. It couldn't possibly happen like that because our system would catch it. And, but not when the system is embedded with the criminal cartel spies, or agents or the cartel themselves. um, you know eh, and it's very hard to believe until you're in this situation and you're doing open records, and they don't want to give you the open records, right? They don't want to give you the open records, or you find the open records and you reveal the evidence, and they just don't even want to pay attention to the tampered with files, the leaked files, the illegally using um, sensitive information or leaked files in order to harass or to intimidate or to even threaten um, a family. A family. You don't see that this is. And I don't know for sure if Pam Bondi has, if she has to be convinced. I don't think she does. She's a tough speaker, but I know for a fact that I don't have to convince. I don't have to bring out all of the evidence to get to um, I don't want to say make, uh, to have Kash Patel, the director of the FBI, understand what we have gone through and the level of the crime, and that it is a treasonous crime, and that it was a retaliatory crime for his whistleblowing, and that it was absolutely a premeditated murder. And I don't have to explain to him about the breaches in security on Fort Bliss that allowed this, and the level of the breaches of security, that CCTV footage had to be manipulated, that there had to be embedded, and I've just called his name out all the time, DES Thomas Kane, that he was an embedded agent for the cartel trafficking. Um, you know, there's just no other explanation to the cameras being out, for the camera footage being deleted or manipulated, or for Leilani Hart to have that kind of influence on Fort Bliss, to have influence within the CID, to tamper um, with files, for Tavita Nusa to give her access to the files, which has been confirmed by a whistleblower, a whistleblower report by Judge Roger Rodriguez, uh, in January of 2022. Um, there is no other explanation um, for the breaches, and we don't have to explain that to Kash Patel. We can present him with the evidence, and he will absolutely understand what this is all about, because he understands that the target was President Trump, right? He understands that. He understands that Veronica Escobar did refuse to meet with President Trump after the Walmart mass shooting, that they were trying to push Beto O'Rourke to be president. He's a failed candidate, but tried to push him anyway to be president of the United States. That there was a real Doge amount of money that was funneled to create a narrative to support Beto O'Rourke and cover up what really happened at the Walmart mass shooting. This false narrative, you have the legacy media on its last legs, and they need the money. They need the money. And you see them doing the Operation Mockingbird, right? You see them do, just right now, the Mockingbird doesn't sing at all, right? The Mockingbird doesn't sing at all. They're just like really frozen with all of the um, crimes that we have exposed, with all of the violations that we have exposed, with all um, the whole system that we've exposed there in El Paso. And where are the reports, right? And so you understand the Doge that's going on in El Paso, these payments lifting up the money, lifting up a certain false narrative, something that is not grassroots, that is not how the people feel there. And so we don't need to explain that at all to Kash Patel. He absolutely understands that. And so does Elon Musk, and so does President Trump, because he was the target, and he knows he was the target, because he wanted to make America great again, not let America continue to be taken, to be, the victim of these thieves, the thievery, especially of the benefits, like the Veteran Administration, all the benefits of disabled veterans, the fraud going on with the disabled veterans benefits is huge. And now I don't have to explain that so much because people understand when there's like an almost 300-year-old getting Social Security benefits, right? They see that the fraud is really big when you have so many that are about 200 years old getting Social Security benefits. It's like, wow, let's go over and see what they eat and drink, right? But we know that it's fraud, waste, and abuse. We see how they do their little pet projects just to launder the money to them, and or to also to push forward a narrative that the people wouldn't really ever push forward, right? They wouldn't push forward what we have had to go through in the last years, right? That was all generated by thievery, and a few that that put forth the propaganda to make us think that the movement was bigger than what it was, supported more than what it really is. It's not really supported at all. And the media would manipulate the pictures, manipulate the truth in order to support the narrative. And it was for, really, it was for money. You know, you follow the money, it was for money. And so we have audio. We've a very, very, very dear and very smart person from the very beginning told us record everything, record everything, have a journal, do your timelines, everything. And we're like, really? And absolutely, absolutely record everything. And we were humble enough and desperate enough and trusted this person enough that we listened and we did it. We did it. And so we do have recordings of Reyes Mata, and that prove some real violations. And that is being, because uh, things were leaked. Things were leaked. And when things get leaked that are not supposed to be leaked, and names get leaked and doxed, and the substance of the reports are leaked, and they're supposed to be uh, trustworthy agencies, and it gets leaked, and and then that, and then all of a sudden you get a phone call that is harassing, right? Um, it really puts the people that are trying to um, assert their rights. FOIAs are a right. Okay, FOIAs are a right. Freedom of information. We have a transparent government. That's because we don't have a dictatorship. We have a transparent government. So we get to see uh, the payment rolls. We get to see the emails. We get to see everything that allows our government to tick tock, right? Now, there are some exceptions in there for the safety of people, but pretty much uh, there is the Freedom of Information Act, open records that we can request, and we can see what our government is up to, right? And that's our right. And when you're asking for um, certain records, that is protected too. You don't want to dox the person asking to see, because if a crime is being committed against our government, against our people, um, you don't want to give that criminal a heads up in order to harass and intimidate and threaten and maybe harm And you don't want to leak out the content of what you're asking for because that might involve other people, you see, and that might put other people in danger. And that's exactly what has happened with us. And the subsequent harassment did follow. And and so our audio recordings, since we were in communication with Reyes and also um, others, and in our open records, um, there are audios confirming this crime, and it. So, and why am I saying this? Because we're not getting truthful answers. And so we have to then once again say, look, we have hard evidence that proves that what you're telling us is a lie. It, and we have to say it kind of nice. We have evidence that what you're saying to us, you might be mistaken. You might be mistaken. You might want to look at that again because if this is connected to the Sinaloa cartel, if this is connected to uh, uh, the terroristic organization, um, if this is regarded as treason against the country, you might want to look at it real careful because President Trump is very serious about um, getting the cartel out of our system that are thieving and trafficking and money laundering and everything that goes with that. And if you're convicted of treason, if, I don't think pardons apply. And you will lose all of your very coveted VA disability benefits, even though you might not be disabled. But, so much fraud, waste, and abuse has been um, done, and we have proof of that now with Doge. Thanks be to God that Doge has corroborated what we've been trying to tell people that, some people they they're taking advantage of the system, and this group of people are working together, and I'll scratch your back if you scratch my back, and we'll all violate our oaths. We'll all commit treason together, and we'll do that to allow the cartel, or even I would say the El Paso cartel, along with the Sinaloa cartel, um, to continue to traffic with impunity. This is what's been going on, but now that day is gone, and Cash Patel is in, and Pam Bondi's in, because they are absolutely being led by a magnificent leader called President Donald J. Trump. And he is very serious about getting crime out of the system. And we are very hopeful that we can get accountability, and that other people that have waited for, I would say even decades. I've heard people tell me that they've been waiting for decades to get justice. And so now that they can get justice, so that we could get justice, so that we could get our son's remains. And that will give us a lot. When we get Richard's remains, we'll have a lot of peace. Um, it's going to be a disaster. I can tell you that right now from what people have told us, what has happened to him. But just to know, uh, it will um, it will be the right thing. It will be the right thing. So, it is really a great day to celebrate. Uh, and um, we have absolutely accomplished something that the media is not willing to accomplish. Even though they're given all the information right in their hand, they rather sell their soul and be totally compromised than produce the most um, helpful, right, the right stories to give people um, their lives back, to give them their names back, um, to prevent and uh, these crimes against children. You know, we have stories out right now that are absolutely scandalous, that are protecting these so-called law firms, so-called lawyers, that it is really disgusting. Where were on these unaccompanied children? They call them unaccompanied children. You know, never in history have you had hundreds of thousands of children in just a very short time, right? Very short time. Being all by themselves, traveling all by themselves, crossing a border all by themselves. And, no, these are taken children. And, where was the outrage when all of this was going on? And now, so many of them are mostly dead. You know, who was asking the questions then? No, the outrage right now is, even though they want to try to pull heartstrings and everything, it's not for the children's sake, clearly. Otherwise, they would have been doing it a long time ago. They would have absolutely, these organizations, they get millions of dollars. And if they cared about the children, they would have used those millions of dollars to absolute uh, uh, get the word out to affect Congress, right? To close that border. But they didn't. They just want to collect these millions of dollars and who are their clients, and they will say, oh, 26,000 clients. Well, where did they come from? You know, where did they go? Where did they go? Right? But it's hundreds of thousands of children that were trafficked in a very short time, and um, it's outrageous to see the media cover this like this. They're just exposing themselves for what they are, larceny of heart. That they've just um, caved to. The worst. The worst. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Martha, for coming on. I see you with your prayers and love and your blessings. Thank you so much. And we need those prayers. It was a busy day. We really put in a lot of letters and we got instant um, communication back. And that communication, that all requires answers again. So we are back at writing letters in response to these answers. But to get this swift movement also tells you that there is a um, a real awakening to the fact that this is a different government. That that Cash Patel means business, that Pam Bondi means business, that the borders are means business, that President Trump means business, that Pete Hegseth means business, that and Rubio's doing the amazing job, right? He's doing such an amazing job as Secretary of State. It's just wow. And he was our senator when all of this happened. He absolutely knows about Richard's case because we were in communication with him at the very beginning about Richard's case. So he absolutely knows. about Richard's case, and you can't forget Richard's case. It's such a big case, and he has absolutely um, been fantastic in this since he's been sworn in, right? So we are, I think people all around the world are jealous of our government right now, right? They're jealous, and it's not all in place yet. We still have a lot of AUSAs to put in there because a lot of them are being fired because of their um, very, very bad behavior. And and in the DA's office, that needs to be resolved because the DA's office in El Paso doesn't have a real district attorney. So that we're getting feedback from all of that right now and working on that to make El Paso great again, really, to make El Paso great again. And we can't forget about the federal courthouse. And and all these roads, all these incidents lead to one person, and that is Leilani Hart. So Leilani Hart is really needs to be arrested. It is all documented, and El Paso field office for the FBI agent John Morales needs to absolutely arrest Leilani Hart ASAP. And that's going to go to the new director of the FBI. All of our complaints are going to be uh, resent out because of the tampering and the obstruction of justice that we have been having, and even in the Isleta ISD, which that is ongoing right now. We are in ongoing communication with the Isleta ISD, and it's interesting, y'all. It's interesting. Yeah. So these recordings might kind of jog their memory a little bit, or might let them know. Uh, anyway, that this is serious. This is serious obstruction of justice. And no more games. No more games. You've got to tell the truth. You've got to tell the truth and put that out there. So, and we're very, very glad to have Cash Patel there on our side with um, Pam Bondi. And really, it's a trifecta now, right? Trump, Pam Bondi, and Cash Patel, but then we have, it's huge. It's growing leaps and bounds. So thank you so much, everybody. God bless you. Please share. Please share. Please comment, especially if you want El Paso to be great again, because you need to have a judicial system. And right now, you don't have a judicial system in El Paso. And in order to be great again, you have to have a judicial system. You can't have a civilized, uh, lawful society without a judicial system. And so the federal court needs to be addressed with the Mayelas in there. The DA's office needs to be addressed. The AUSA for the Western District of Texas needs to be addressed. And of course, the MAG Court, the El Paso Criminal Law Magistrate Court, needs to be addressed. And also, another judicial office that people tend to forget is the medical examiner. The medical examiner is so, so important, and that needs to be addressed. So this is inch by inch, inch by inch. We absolutely are going to see all of these take shape, and then you will see a lot of people getting justice. Okay, but with a broken system, then they just violate the law with impunity and don't want to answer simple questions, don't want to investigate, don't want to arrest, don't want to, they just protect the criminals. They just protect the criminals, those that are stealing from me and you. and in all kinds of ways, and in all kinds of ways. So, thank you so much. Today is really a happy day, and we will give you, um, more breaking news tomorrow. Thank you so much. God bless.